Hello everyone, welcome to Samiksha Academy. So let's glance today's newspaper. Grant to visa grant visa to Afghan students, patients and businessmen. Taliban urge India. So it's a continuation of news from yesterday. I think the talks going on between India and Afghanistan, especially with the new Afghanistan regime, the Taliban regime, right? So we must see it as useful. The reason being, Afghanistan is very much important for us, not only to reach Central Asia, understood, but also for our regional cooperation, understood that, right? BHL faces inquiries for NTPC over delays quality. Okay, this is just to go through the headline, and again, this is little important. This is in the context of Indian society in GS paper 1 and social justice in GS paper 2 of mains. In both the contexts, this article is important. Why? Because recently Supreme Court argued that when it comes to same sex marriage, the act should be performed by the legislature. It is in the legislative domain whether it should be allowed or not. Understood. So in that context, when the review petition got filed, again that got rejected by the Supreme Court by arguing the same, right? So there is no lapses in the judgment, and it is a responsibility of the legislature to pass any law with respect to same-sex marriage. As however, with the earlier famous judgments like Navte's Court, Supreme Court actually decriminalized this section 377, right? So section 377, it deals with unnatural sex. So it actually got decriminalized, and later in last year, if you see in the particular judgment, Supreme Court actually said it is not in our domain whether shall we in the Special Marriage Act shall we agree for marriage of a same sex couple. It is a legislative domain to accept or reject. Right, so that is about this particular article. Next, again, it is about day before yesterday's stampede in Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh, right? So here we must understand it in the context of disaster management. So within disaster management, we have NDMA rules, especially with respect to crowd management. So if there are any mishaps, so I think we must understand, like we must know how to rectify it. So just suspending officers will not be sufficient. We must try to find out the root cause so that in the coming future, so if there happens to be any larger than these religious congregations, right? So these kind of mishaps will not happen. So in the similar fashion, if you see here itself, Mahakumbh. So after 12 years, Mahakumbh is going to happen in Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. So in this context also, this crowd management is very much important. See, that's how the government is planning to go for artificial intelligence to track crowd and underwater drones, right? So just get an idea, because these things you can use as examples for crowd management. In your mains answer, you can use this. Next, yeah, this is a continuation. Here, again, it's a continuation, this one. Yeah, again, just pay attention to this lady, Bimla Bissell, right? The one who is known for this, the one who shaped this Fab India, I think this. Their designs famous across the country, but the most important thing here is their way of exploring the ethnicity. Understood that? So here, for example, here they mentioned about Chanderi, right? Sanganeri, Kachi, Banarasi. So various regional designs got promoted, right? Especially under the leadership of this lady called Bimla Bissell, right? The one who strengthened this Fab India design, just to get an idea. Next remaining call you can just glance through. Okay. So next, yeah. This is just to glance. Again, this is about Delhi elections. You can just to glance. Next, yes, see this one here. This is about Gramin Bharat Mahotsav, right? This is important. This Bharat Mandapam, right? We have in Delhi, there different cultural activities will be performed. So in that context, just pay attention to that. So what kind of activities going on? Again here, see, it is just a political issue. Just have a look at it, like cases got booked on him. But this is important here. These are though it is looking like small, but these are important issues. See, PM pitches for world for peace. World future is Buddha, not Yuddha. Right? This line you can actually pick up. This you can use in essay. Right? You can when you're writing any answer with respect to international relations. So this particular line is very much useful. So I will definitely recommend to pick these kind of punchlines. Right? The future of the world is Buddha, not Yuddha. You can use it in conclusions. Right? So in that context, I feel this is important. And another one here, if you say genome data sequencing, see this one, genome data of 10,000 Indians available for research. Right? So why this genome project is important? The reason being, if you have this genome sequencing, it helps us in terms of finding out with respect to any kind of diseases, right? So what kind of disease caused earlier? So with respect to country's health, this kind of projects will be helpful. So in that context, and it's not only just to know about the DNAs, but also to find out what kind of health challenges we faced earlier, we may face in the future. In that context, we can use this particular project, right? So that is about this. And I think this is a continuation of that Pravasi Bharati. There was Bhubaneswar, right? Saudi Royals Doctor, Japan CEO among 27. I said day before yesterday, I did one video on this. Pravasi Bharati Samman, right? So that award will be given to those people who will be who are contributing for the development of the society, for the progress of the society. In the context of governance, just say this: Himachal to include families with no adults, those headed by women in BPL category. Okay, so if they don't, if in that particular family, if they don't have any adults, so in that case, they may be, it is like to provide some kind of benefits to them, right? Again, this one also important, better amenities or freebies. So it is again, once again, like if you give freebies, right? Or if you develop infrastructure, so which one is better? So this debate is going on for long, right? So in this context, what is interesting thing here? 16th Finance Commission under this Arvind Panigaria, right? So just to even the just if you just go through the headline, that also sufficient. Okay, next this, okay. Again here, see, recently BJP government, BJP once again formed government in Maharashtra. So along with Shiv Sena and NCP of Ajit Pawar, right? So in that context, they promised, they came up with this Ladki Bahin scheme. So under which they want to provide 2,100 financial assistance to women, especially the BPL women. Okay. So I think in that context, you should get an idea what kind of challenges they are facing. Next, this is just to get an idea. This once again, just pay attention here. India, US working on de-radicalization of vulnerable communities to fight terror. So this is with respect to terrorism, right? So how we are planning for that, how India and US collaborating for that, right? The US ambassador to India, right, Eric Grassetti. So he spoke about it, but this is important. See this farmer ID. What is farmer ID? So each farmer, those who owns the land, on their name an ID will be created. This ID will be linked with PM Kisan. PM Kisan means it's all, I think it's a cash transfer scheme to the farmers. Kisan Samman Nidhi, right? So to further streamline the Kisan Samman Nidhi, PM Kisan initiative, so government is planning, government actual planning for this. Actually, in 10 states it is being implemented. Those states also mentioned here. So it's little important, that one. Next, okay, you can just glance through this. Again, this one, executive legislature to take call on exclusion from reservation. So once again, it is just a small, it's just an issue like if anyone needs to be excluded, who should be excluded. So again, the Supreme Court's argument is that it is a responsibility of the legislature with respect to any individual, any community or group of individuals need to be excluded. Again, this is with respect to the stampede in Tirupati. Again, the main issue here is crowd mismanagement. So there they failed. That's the reason we have seen this what you call tragedy. See here again in this context, remind this word rat hole mining. You know, rat hole mining means they won't mine in a bulk manner. They will go by like how rats used to dig the holes. In the similar fashion, mining used to happen. Right? They will be getting small quantity. It is good, but the problem with this mining is if there happens to be any kind of any trap, it's very difficult to get the victims out of it. So this is what happened here. Rat hole mining, they will be drilling like a small hole. So suddenly water swept inside the mine and the victim got stuck, and it's becoming very difficult to get the individuals out. And most probably we are losing hope on day by day. Next, again this one yesterday also we discussed. So this is the beauty if you read newspaper every day. This is with respect to space decks. So from the past 3 days the news is being covered. If you just glance it today, you no need to pay full attention. You just got, if you just read the headline one day, if you read fully, the remaining day just an update. In 3 to 4 days if you read, the issue will be like you can easily understand that. So it is an experiment. This is with respect to what you call International Space Station of Bharat. So for that purpose, this particular mission was launched, right? So on December 30th. Yesterday, because of the drift, they could not able to do that. Now, most probably they may do it. Once it is done, India will be the fourth country after US, Russia, and China, right, to have the specialization in space docking. See, if you just follow 3 to 4 days, it would be sufficient. Next, okay, you can just go through. Again, this one, engaging Taliban. Right. So this article. So I feel one editorial, if you just go through, that is sufficient. Right. If you have time, you can just go through one time. So that's enough for you to get an idea. Again, here the broad idea is why do we need to engage with Taliban? Why? Because on the other one side we have Iran, on the other side we have Pakistan. Here we have, if you see here, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, right? So because of the issues in Pakistan in the recent past, Pakistan is sending a lot of Afghanistan refugees back to Afghan. So Afghan refugees back to Afghanistan. So because of they are facing a lot of challenge in Afghanistan, and some of them even planning attacks. They actually attacked Pakistan in the recent past. We are seeing that. So scholars' argument is that why? Because of this strained relationship. So if we strengthen Afghanistan along with that Iran, that's why we want to strengthen that Chabahar board. Chabahar port, right? So through this, if we provide assistance to these two countries, because on one side Iran is also facing troubles, Afghanistan also. So in that way, indirectly we can put a check on Pakistan. So in this context also we should understand this. So that's what realism says. So realism means be practical. But even otherwise also, Afghanistan is important for us. So in the context of humanity, even if you think. So in that context, I feel we should understand this issue. Yes. Next is, yesterday we have seen that headline. Zuckerberg, they are stopping these fact checking units. Now, similar to X platform under Elon Musk, they also want to give it to the people. Understood. So earlier there used to be filtered set by Facebook. So now they just want to remove it. So in that context, we should understand why, because see, we all are using the social media platforms, but at the end of the day, all these are social media platforms owned by the business communities. At the end of the day, it is business for them, but it is having a lot of its influence, right, with respect to information, sharing of information. So in that context, I feel this information is important. Why? Because we will be using it at the end of the day. So next, just glance it. You can see here, this line, this statement is important. A more empathetic justice, right? Treatment of survivors of sexual and gender-based violence lacks sensitivity, denies dignity. Delhi High Court's verdict is a welcome intervention. Understood. So it wants people. So if there happens to be any kind of incident, this kind of incident with respect to sexual violence or gender-based discrimination. So in that context, we need to be more empathetic. So in that context, you can use it in GS paper 1, in GS paper 2, even in essays. So for that, those statements would be useful. Again, it is a concept. MSP to PDP. PDP means price deficiency payment. Price deficiency payment means what? Suppose, for example, take the case of paddy, right? If the price set is, if the MSP price set is 1500 rupees, understood, but you can sell it to the market for 1000 rupees. The remaining 500, what is the difference then? Remaining is 500. Remaining 500 rupees will be sent to your account by the government. This is called price deficiency payment. How much is the deficient difference? The difference will be given by the government. So this was actually initially experimented in some states like Madhya Pradesh. So now the main debate here is, rather than thinking much about whether shall we legalize MSP or not, so let the farmer sell it to the market, right? Let there be a price. Once if the farmer is selling, if you keep the price, ceiling price as 1500, but the farmer is selling only for 1000 rupees, in that case the remaining government can give it to farmer. So that is one argument. But the other side of this particular argument is, what if the farmer and the market person colludes? If they both gets colluded, understood that, so drastically they will reduce the price. So that farmer is benefiting from the government. So because if the market price is 1500, farmer will be selling just for 600. Understood. So who will be at loss here? What if they colludes? Because farmer anyhow will be getting the money from the government. The market person will be benefiting. Why? Because they are getting at a cheaper price. So the government has to face the burden. So this kind of challenge is there in this PDP system. So that's what he says. So the main argument of Ashok Gulati is that, so let's have a fund. Right now we are giving MSP for 23 crops. Okay, but most of the MSP being utilized only for rice and wheat. What about, India is a net importer of oil and pulses. Understood. So let us diversify MSP, and if you take the case of MSP, if the non-MSP, so for example, like dairy sector, right, their horticulture, so they are growing much faster, the non-MSP crops. But the non-MSP crops and these products, but when it comes to MSP products, their growth is very low. So market control ones are generating growth much faster. So rather than thinking about whether we shall we legalize MSP or not, let us diversify the products. Let us focus more on where we can generate more growth. Understood. So that is about this particular article. So I think one time you have to go through, because it is about country's agriculture, the backbone of the country. Next, this yesterday also we have seen Hollywood Hills burn in worst LA fights, Los Angeles fights. So it is about forest fights. This is also important. You can use it as example again in disaster management, even in GS paper 1 in geography with respect to forest fights. Again, Hashmani case yesterday we just discussed, just to go through the headline. This is about Trump. Again here, pay attention to this person called Jimmy Carter, former president of USA, right? He died recently. So in that context, I think this particular article you can just go through. Again, see here, Rakhine, about the, I think you know about this particular issue. What you call, who are these people? Rohingyas. So they actually hail from this particular area. So ethnic violence. Myanmar is facing civil war for long. That's the reason it became the global crime capital for these drugs. So in that context, that you should understand that. Next is okay. See, this is with respect to this article, Economy 2025. Here is what to expect. So just glance through here. I think this if you just go through it is sufficient. It is about global. He mentioned the top 10 points of the global economy. So that is important even for us to understand. Reversal in recent pattern of US dominance. Okay. Fiscal deficit is America's fatal flaw, right? America will look less exceptional. New stars are going to emerge. China becoming investable again. That means China is getting strengthened. In India, small will no longer be beautiful. So, next, overspending on AI will hurt big tech firms. Well, if you're thinking too much, like if something AI can do, right? Global trade will grow without America. Private funding will slow down globally. No magic solution to obesity pandemic. You know this, I think you know about this one, right? Ozempic. So they thought like if you take these pills, automatically your weight will be reduced, right? There are some there is a scientific research behind it, but still there will be a lot many questions about this magic pill, right? So that those are the just points. Just even I feel the summary is enough. Those who still have time, you can go through, but I feel just to get an idea. Okay, this is again continuation of yesterday about the gold data error. Yeah, see, this is important again. What do you do sitting at home? Roar L&T chief's remark of 90 days. Earlier, what's his name? Narayan Murthy used to say, well, we should work for 70 hours per week. But L&T chief in his internal letters to an employee mentioned that why can't we work for 90 hours? But the kind of comments he passed, what do you do? What do you do at home? Right? You will be staring at your wife. Your wife will be staring at you. So rather than why can't you come and work? Right? Some people are arguing it is like a kind of corporate slavery. But there is another side of it. Their main point here is that if you see America and China, Americans are working just for 50 hours per week. But in the case of China, they are working close to 90 hours. So that's the reason China is becoming more productive comparing with US. Understood? They could able to deliver their projects faster. So there is a point here, but at the same time, we should also understand if you keep on working, understood, without providing proper rest, it may impact the mental health of the people. So there are both sides of it that we must try to understand. So in that context, I feel the statement is important. Next, Next one is just, you can just glance through. This is about just sports. Just highlight one. That's it for the day. Thank you.